You see, there's been a big misconception in the world of hypnosis. Hypnosis is a natural state. It's something we go in and out of all the time. But we can use that state to affect our own behaviors. So this is a do with. I'm going to work with your unconscious mind. I'm going to work with this 88. You're going to work with the 12, right? Because together, when we work together, we can bring 100% of the mind together. That's the power of your own mind.
So I just attended Talib's group hypnosis, Beyond the Mind, and it was amazing. And the fact that I feel so refreshed and so energetic afterwards is amazing. It's a wonderful feeling. This was a bonus. So for the last couple days, I had been experiencing a pain behind my face. On a scale from 1 to 10, not even a 1, more like a dull ache. And while we were going through the process, I was able to let that go, and I was actually able to pinpoint the root of that disease during the meditation process and during the visualization. And since we've been done, I haven't felt that pain, that dull ache behind my face that I had been feeling like for the last few days. If you're in the Las Vegas area, come and give this a try. It's a wonderful experience, and I'm sure that you'll get some great benefit from coming to do this.
Welcome to Beyond the Mind. I am your host, Talib, where I'm not here to teach you. I'm just here to remind you. And I'm so glad you're here right now, exactly as you are. And as you settle in, maybe already noticing the way your breath finds its own easy rhythm, I want to invite you into a conversation about something we all know, yet rarely stop to really listen to. The body syndromes that show up, the tightness, the unexpected ache, the flare up that seems to have a mind of its own. Now, you might have been told that those symptoms are just physical or just stress. And maybe you've wondered quietly, what if my body is trying to tell me something? What if there's a deeper conversation happening just beneath the surface of the conscious awareness? Because you see, the unconscious mind, the same part of you that knows perfectly how to heal a cut, how to breathe you through an entire night of sleep without a single instruction. That part already holds the blueprint for ease. It speaks the language of the body fluently, and it's always listening. So today, we're going to gently explore how those body syndromes can begin to shift, not by force, not by wrestling with the symptom, but by learning to speak to it in the language it already understands, the language of the subconscious, unconscious mind. And as we go, you might find yourself relaxing into a quiet kind of knowing that change doesn't have to be hard, that your body can learn quickly, the way you learn to ride a bike without effort once the conscious mind steps aside. So let's begin exactly where you are, and let's just see what unfolds naturally. So, body syndromes, what are they? Body syndromes are pains that we may experience that do not have, say, a medical reasoning for it. A pain in your shoulder, discomfort in your head sometimes. Sometimes allergies can be a body symptom and a body syndrome. See, these syndromes from the mind, and there is a saying that comes from Dr. John Kappas, and it goes, what the brain can't handle, it puts off in the mind. And what the mind can't handle, it puts off in the body. And the interesting thing about body syndromes is it has been studied and researched. In many cases, in some instances, a doctor will send an individual to a hypnotherapist because there's nothing medically they can do for them. So today's show will be about body syndromes, what can cause them, what can lead to them, how they emerge, where they come from, and some ways you can actually communicate with the subconscious. And one of those things we learn to look at when it comes to body syndrome and how it actually affects us is there's something called organic language. And organic language essentially translates to auditorial digital negative self-talk. Essentially talking out loud to yourself. Here's an example of this negative of this type of self-talk. You're a pain in my neck. That really gets on my nerves. If you keep doing this to me, you're going to kill me, right? And what happens is the body responds to you. And when what we consciously say doesn't align with the internal world, it creates a conflict, right? And the body communicates. So when we have a tendency to negatively affirm to ourselves, what happens is over a period of time, these symptoms begin to show up in certain ways. Oh, my knee is sore, you know, my feet just start swelling for no reason. And I'm going to go into why certain parts of your body are affected by these things. Because there's a psychological aspect to all of this as well as a energetic fold into it. And so when we're looking at the body syndrome and how it breaks down, you can look at it in a left right paradigm. Now, the left side is the feminine energy, and the right side is the masculine energy. And why is this so? Because the way our nervous system runs up our spine at the right at the cortex here, what happens is these wires cross. So the right side of your brain is influencing and evolved with the left side of your body, while the left side of your brain. And so right brain represents creativity, imagination, left side logic, reasoning, and so forth. Right? Now these two hemispheres are supposed to resonate together, right? And often what happens is our condition in our life it tends to have us lean to a predominant side of the brain, right? And so right-sided brain people are very I don't want to use a term like that. Right-sided brain people are very art driven, very creative brain. These are your musicians, right? Your actors and people of this nature, right? And poets. And even in the scientific community, a lot of them are more right brain because they think outside of the paradigm. And that's where a lot of their research and curiosity and wonder comes from. While left brain people are more calculated, right? And these are your CEOs and um, supervisors, foremans, right? And so these people and a lot of people who may feel like they refer a regular routine type job, right? Let's say they don't have a high education and they are okay with that and they like doing a specific thing, right? These people are still left brained in orientation of they like a system, routine, things of this nature. Now, if you lean too hard on either side, it can be very, very unhealthy. Now, when we have um, issues with our parents growing up, our primary and secondary caregivers, when we have issues with that, these things later in life will show up on the uh, right and left side of the body, right? I'll give my own personal example, right? I had uh, I would say almost essentially non-existent relationship with my father. And it did affect me in for many years in many ways, right? Unknowingly and knowingly. But I tend to when I got played basketball, very interesting. I would sprain my right ankle and I would injure the right side of my body frequently, right? And that came from unresolved trauma, right? When you have issues with your mother, you may notice that, there's a pain in the left side of the body somewhere, right? When we have deep seated issues when our parents, they show up on the right and left side of our body. Now, the front of our body functions in a way of it's what we show to the world, right? And our face is where they call them body syndromes, the crying syndrome, right? This is because uh, when we cry, we are indicating that we are hurting and that we need help. And so when we're stressed out and we're trying to hide it, you'll find that the issues will appear in that area, right? You'll find that you get headaches or stuffy noses or colds and various things could occur in the face because of this. And it also extends down to the throat, shoulders, and chest. Now, very interesting when you carry a lot of responsibility and financial responsibility that you carry outwardly, meaning it is very seen that you carry this responsibility. You're going to find a lot of issues in the shoulders and and the shoulders and the neck area. This area here is going to be very affected by that, right? And it's very interesting how when I speak to people and from my research and the wonderful library I've been granted access to through HMI, I've been able to really do a real deep dive and see that you will find, and I went out and conducted some of my own experimentation through people I know and questioning that a lot of people that carry that image of being the guy that or the woman that always has to come through, they have a lot of issues in their neck and their shoulders. So if you have a lot of issues in your neck and your shoulders, that's a weight that you carry that you should, the world sees you carry this weight, right? Now, when you have a lot of financial issues and you don't allow people to know, this is the interesting part. Now, the back end of us, our back, is because we hide. That's not because we hide, but the back is the protected area, right? It's the thing that people do not see, right? And we don't show that part of us because it's a vulnerable part of us, right? So what happens with the back? So a lot of things that we don't want people to see about us or share, right? That may carry a lot of weight for us will show up in the back, right? So if there's a financial issue and things that you don't want people to know about and you're carrying this weight, you'll notice they'll have lower back pains, right? And what I'm telling you and how this body and how it folds into energy is because this is where that energy goes and sits. This whole physical body has its own grid set up on how power and energy is distributed amongst it, right? And when certain things get blocked or clogged up, they create issues, right? And also, it is a way that our body communicates to us that we need to let something go, right? So, on that note, just saying one of the things that you can do is when you have those pains, if you can take a moment, slow down, right? Because a lot of our pain comes into beyond the pain of it is the emotion that it drives in us when we're in pain, right? And we're more susceptible to the anxiety, the frustration, and just the mere pain itself being something that is resistance we don't want, right? So that's something that can build up, and that's one of those reasons that that exists that way. So I just wanted to start covering as we go deeper into it, and we will be opening up the lines. I would love for people to call in, right? Share some of your experiences. I'd love to know in the chat if you have experienced any type of body syndromes, right? And what are some of the things you may have done for it? So, as I was saying, when you notice this pain, what you if you can stop and take a few deep breaths and slow down and bring your awareness, your mind, right? Opposed to the throbbing or the sensation, if you can bring your mind into the pain and just let go and listen. The pain, when especially when it's body syndromes, will just dissolve, right? Once your awareness is on it, right, and you let go of the excess you're putting on it, the body can do what it's trying to do. It says, "Oh, there's an opening. We can let this go now." So that's very key. So if you're in the chat, please let me know what you if you've experienced any body syndromes or anything of that nature, right? And also what I'm talking about is something which is known as psychosomatics, which is where our body has a memory of our emotions, right? And this is why sometimes if you can find yourself in a situation and you'll be very upset, you'll be trying to be calm, excuse me. You'll find yourself in a situation where you're attempting to be calm, but your body isn't, right? The nerves, you're sweating, right? Because the body still is has that emotion from these type of that situation stored in it. And when it's in it, it's going to trigger that emotion and that energy, right? And what happens is we can use something called grounding. We can become aware in the moment, right? Okay, where are my feet? Right. Uh, taking photos said, yeah, I'm experiencing them now and find relief as you speak. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's very kind of you. So, what you can do is ground yourself. So, how one way to do that is we can start with a deep breath and bring our attention to our body. If you're standing, become aware of your feet in your shoes. What do your feet in your shoes feel like in this moment? Wiggle your toes in them, feel them, and you'll become aware of the socks that are over your feet, if they are. And then you become aware of the soles of the shoes that your feet are in. And when you do that, you become aware of the ground. And by the time you've done that, you would have realized that you're in the moment now. So this is a powerful technique. You can use it at any time, anywhere, and, and you know, even if you're experiencing one 66% of Americans experience driving anxiety. That's a big number of people that are out here on the road that's having anxiety, in some instance, almost panic attacks, right? So if you are a driver and you're out there, you can use this technique by merely feeling your body in your seat and noticing your hands on the steering wheel, and begin to take a deep breath and notice with each breath that you breathe in a sense of calm. And as you exhale, you release all tension, worry, and anxiety. And these are grounding methods, and this will assist in these situations, and especially when you have uh, a body syndrome that is affecting you in the moment. You can just pull yourself back to the moment and listen to your body. It is communicating, right? And we have a tendency, especially, I can't speak for every country or culture or behavior, but what I can say is we have here in America have been taught to internalize. So we're not accustomed as a culture to, yes, we'll vocalize our complaint or anything that we feel we need to defend. But when it comes to the self analysis, the self reflection, right? We've been taught to bottle that up, push it down, right? Or to try to reason it into a place that it fits inside of the identity that you've cultivated for yourself. So that's something I think could really really help if you apply it. And yeah, it's helped me so many times in so many different ways through many different challenges and moments in which was able to step back and ground myself and really uh, be in the moment, right? And now another thing is when we have neck issues, as I was saying, this also has to do with unresolved issues. When we have things that we haven't resolved, they accumulate and stack in our neck. Now, when it comes to your hands, if you get the sweaty palms, it's because something in your past slipped through your fingers in a sense, or you were trying to hold on to something and you lost it. So now your body has an anticipatory, like anxiety of losing something again, right? So this is once again another beautiful opportunity to use a grounding method, and it'll bring you back into the moment, and you'll be able to communicate with the body that you're safe, right? And that's fun because that's a word that a lot of, you might find in certain circles, but it's not widely respected. There is a sense of safety that the body needs to exit out of survival mode. And when the body is in survival mode, you produce uh, uh, a lot of epinephrine and cortisone, and not the cortisol or cortisol and not the cortisone your body needs, right? So when you're in survival and mode, remember it doesn't show up. the way uh, it, it's being interpreted in the body, right? So when we're in survival mode, the body actually thinks it's in a life or death situation. We are aware that it's a term we apply, and it has colloquial meaning and subjective meaning, but the body doesn't understand, right? So when the body doesn't feel safe, it produces the same chemicals you would produce if your life was in danger. The body can't sustain producing those chemicals, right? It burns through a lot of resources doing that. And then that leads us into deeper depression in which we don't replenish any of the necessary nutrition that the body needs so it can get back to a healthy homeostasis, which causes us to spike our blood sugar. And then because we're looking for a quick, oh, I'm so hungry, I gotta eat something. And you eat a lot of sugary, carbohydrated based food that doesn't really produce energy, and it does it very fast, and the body burns through it and it produces too much. And now your body is producing more from the pancreas, more insulin. Now you have all the insulin trying to shoot it out, and you go crashing down. And it's a vicious cycle you enter into, right? So this is why it's very, very important to ground yourself, to slow down, because when our body is responding in a certain manner, it's going to put you into a certain state. That state is going to lead to behaviors which are basically actions, and that will yield a result. And when we do that, what happens is this is why we find ourselves in a vicious circle of trying to get out of a habit or do something different. And then for whatever reason, life crashes around us and we find ourselves doing the same thing again. And we say, oh, I try to keep trying and nothing changes. And this is why, right? So what I as I look at some of my notes, guys. I took a lot of notes about. I wanted to not be all over the place. I wanted to sort of organize some of that stuff when I speak on it because body syndromes they're very deep, And when you look at body syndrome, it ties into acupuncture, acupressure, right? It ties into the EFT, right? Which is, in my opinion, a wonderful way to deal with body syndromes, right? And we'll do some EFT shortly on, and we'll use a general term so you could tap along at home. If you have an issue, you can always just replace the word with your issue if it's not a medical issue that requires a doctor. But other than that, we're definitely going to do some tapping on some body syndrome stuff and about pain and discomfort. And I would love to hear after we do it some of the results that you might get, might get from it, which uh, I'm 100% confident that at the very least you'll experience it and you will feel something shift. I wouldn't want to sell a snake oil or try to convince somebody that that would be the answer to end all. The truth of the matter is that energy is flowing through our body. We have a very complicated nervous system that seems to remember everything. And these methods have a way of, I wouldn't say just communicating, but when you tap on certain points, it has an effect. It sends a signal. And when you make a statement along with that, it sends an intention. So with those two things, it becomes very powerful. And there's a lot of scientific data to support tapping. And so some of it I will be 100% honest with you. Some people say, oh, scientists, but are they widely accepted scientists or what they consider to be pseudoscientists? And that's just to say that they're not, it's not saying they're not accredited science. It's just that the science that they do is not science that any of the people who really do science cares about. They don't find it important. So uh, it still falls somewhat one foot in pseudo, one foot not in pseudo, because they have done scientific uh, um, research on it. You can look that up for yourself, where they took a group of people and they took their blood, and some of these people had some issues, and you could see that in the blood cells, in the shape of the blood cells, and in the flow of the blood through the veins. So they took their uh, all their tests first before they started to tap in blood pressure. They took their blood. They gave them a couple of other tests, test their heart and things like that. And then after that, they hooked them up to EKG machines, a couple other neurological devices they had that they felt like they wanted to monitor and see what was happening while it happened. And it was really fascinating because um, after the tapping session, everyone had a change in their blood flow. Right, one of the participants had a restriction. The blood wasn't flowing smoothly through the veins, and so after they did the tapping session, they discovered that the blood was flowing smoothly through her veins, right? And it works really good on phobias, you know, if you apply it to it. It's my from in my opinion, I would say, is probably a phobia is one of the main things that really got it recognition, where a particular individual had a fear of water, and they did a tap-in session with him. Like, the guy was petrified of water, and they did a tap-in session with him, just like two or three, I believe it was, and they took him to a pool, and he had never gotten into the pool, and he won't get in any large body of water. And he got in, and he even put his head under the water. So that was very powerful. So it really does work well when it comes to uh, phobias. Though in this particular instance, I don't know if what he had was a fear or a phobia. I'm not 100% sure of what that was. Um, because there is a difference between fears and phobias. Just and the difference between fears and phobias are fears have an origin, right? Like, let's say you have a fear of dogs because when you were little, you were bitten by a dog, right? Phobias do not, right? You ask somebody, well, they say they're afraid of bees, right? And you ask them, well, what happened? Did you get stung by a bee? They're like, oh, no, no, I've never been stung by a bee, but a cousin of mine one time did. And I saw this movie, and then the killer bees. And uh, so a phobia is fueled by a lot of secondary information, right? Which could be super fast, right? It could be movies, it could be uh, uh, anecdotal stories and of something really extreme happening to somebody that they don't know, but heard from someone they do know. So, you can't trace the lineage of a phobia, and phobias usually start after the age of 13. That's when we really develop phobias. So, I just didn't mean to go on that rant. I just thought that was very interesting because when I was thinking about it, like, yeah, did he have a phobia of water? Was it a fear? I don't remember if he said he ever drowned, you know. But yeah, that's how we got down that road. So I want to thank you guys for being here on Beyond the Mind Hypnotherapy. My name is Talib. Um, I'm very glad to be here with you guys, and we're gonna open up the line soon because I really would love to know if anybody has had any body syndromes and what they like to share. And if there's anything you would like to also talk about with your week this week, and if you like to come up, maybe learn a little bit more about hypnosis. Um, Maybe if you're in a right place and comfortable, you can experience some hypnosis and experience what it feels like uh, to be deeply relaxed, which is something you're completely already aware of. So it's probably something you haven't done naturally in a while, or with conscious effort. And so if you like to experience that, please. come join me. But for now, take a sip of my wonderful tea here with I like a little milk in my tea, little milk with some little the raw sugar, you probably really shouldn't be a sugar, even if it is raw, that, oh, raw is better. I don't know if it's actually that much better, you know. Another little interesting fact, the average American consumes 170 pounds of sugar in a year, which is, I think, is pretty right on brand if you've been in the grocery store of late. But, you know, I do like my tea with milk. So we were talking about body syndromes. And if you have issues with your knees, it has to do with your flexibility and a decision. If you have issues with your feet, it has to do with a decision, a choice that you haven't moved on and that you feel as if you should, right? There's something internal there going on with what you feel you should be moving toward and you're not, right? It may be for safety reasons, right? Here's the interesting thing. People a lot of use this term a lot called self-sabotage, right? Like yourself is actually trying to set you up to lose. And I like to take this opportunity to tell you what really it is. Your unconscious mind isn't trying to set you up. Not at all. What it actually is that the unconscious mind is trying to protect you. Is trying to keep you safe. And safe to the unconscious mind is familiar, right? And when you look at that bad habit or that thing you do, you feel that's holding you back, I want you to look at not what you think is keeping you from. Look at where it's keeping you at. Notice how familiar and comfortable you are with those feelings. Because at some point in your life, your mind got the idea that this stuff that's happening, we know what to do. We know how to soothe ourselves when this happens, and it's safe. It's safe. So notice the benefit that your mind thinks you're getting from what you don't want to do anymore. And you may begin to become aware of the fact that at one point, before you didn't like it, you did like it. And why it won't move ahead is because the unconscious mind doesn't see pain the way you do. You see pain and say, something hurts. The unconscious mind says, it's unknown. That's not familiar. We could die. I'm going to take these glasses on, repeat that. That's not safe. That's not familiar. And if we do that, we could die. So that's the issue with the unconscious mind. It's not because it wants to sabotage you, it wants to keep you safe. So then the next step would obviously be, then I need to take that thing that mind thinks is unfamiliar and make it familiar, make it safe. So I'm going to leave you on that thought. But Peach, if you can, I would love for you to open up the lines. And while she's opening up the lines, what I want to do is go ahead and do a little tap, 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 tappity tap. Now, there's several ways to tap, and there's different meridians, but for the sake of the audience at home, I'm going to tap on some very easy points for you to get to. And you can do this with one hand or two. So first thing we'll do is we're just going to go through, and I've done some of this before, but for those that's never seen that, right? Or for all the great, wonderful new people that may be joining us, right? And even for those that may have been watching but didn't participate, so they may not recall. I'm just going to share those points so you'll know where to tap and you can tap along. And after we finish tapping, you can go and tap whenever you want. Okay. So, our first point we're going to learn today is the karate chop. That's this point here, right? And we're going to tap on this just like that. Not hard, just enough to tap. Then, our next point, you see the beginning of the eyebrows there, the bridge. We're just going to tap there. Now, you can tap with one hand or you can tap with two. But we're tapping here, right? Now, we're going to move to the side of the eye. We're going to tap right there. Going to tap right there, right? Very easy. Not hard. Don't beat yourself up. You probably do that enough already. So now we're going to move to the underneath the eye and tap underneath the eye. Then the bridge between the nose and the top of the mouth. Right there. And then we're going to tap right there in that little dip between the chin and the bottom lip. There's a little dip. He's going to tap right there, just like this, right? And now, where that collarbone begins, there's like these points right there. You're just going to tap that collarbone area right there, just like that. Just tap in there, right there. And now, I'm going to tap underneath the arm and the armpit, just like that. And now, the last part, which I'm sure you know, is the crown. I'm going to tap the top of the head, just like this. Nice and easy, gently and rhythmic. So, before now that you got a little understand what we're going to tap on, and I'm going to tap, you could tap along and say the words, or just give yourself permission to allow the words to move through you and accept the words. If you like, you are more than welcome to say the words. I'm going to make a general statement about pain, right? If you want to change the word to back pain or my neck pain, you're more than welcome. right? But when I just use the term pain, you automatically identify what that is because you know what your pain is. I can't tell you or need to tell you that. So the word will be pain. Okay. So what we're going to do is you're going to tap and then we're going to make this setup statement. I'm going to say it 3 times and then we're going to go through these points. Okay. Now, before we get started, what I would like for you to do is on a scale of 1 to 10, write down what your pain is. 1 being the lowest, 10 being very painful. And if you got your number, go ahead and write it down in the chat and I'll know that we can start. Good. All right. Taking photos starting at 8. Peach, if you like to tap along, you could just let me know on the side what your number is. And the reason of the number is very important because this is very powerful. And if you're not really paying attention, you won't know how much it's working, right? You might assume that, oh, well, that didn't work. It just stopped. So if you put a number to it, you become aware. It's a part of that connection and becoming aware. And for you to also be able to govern and see how much it's doing for you. All right. So far for body syndromes, what we have is something you can do with the subconscious mind is ground yourself because that will bring you all the way down and slow you down and also allow you to communicate with the body to let go. And that's what we're doing the EFT. So we're just going to do 2 rounds, I think, and just to see where you're at and if you enjoyed it and how it felt for you. So tapping here and repeating after me. Okay, take a deep breath and repeat after me. Even though I'm having all this pain, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. And take a deep breath. Breathe out. Even though I'm having all this pain, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. Even though I'm having all this pain, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself and anyone else that may be involved. Going to the eyebrow, all this pain, side of the eye, all this pain. Just take a deep breath. Just become aware. All this pain. Underneath all this pain. All this pain. Now move into the collarbone. all this pain. Take a deep breath. Breathe out underneath the arm. All this pain. Breathe out. Top of the head. All this pain. Do it again at the eye. Letting go of all this pain. Side of the eye. Letting go of all this pain. Underneath the eye. Letting go all this pain. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Breathe out all the air. At the bridge. Letting go all this pain. Underneath. Letting go all this pain. Collarbone. Letting go all this pain. Underneath the arm. Letting go all this pain. Top of the head. Letting go all this pain. In mind, body, and spirit. Stop tapping. Take a deep breath. And breathe out. So, I hope you enjoyed that. I'd love to know in the comments what you thought. If you'd like to come up and discuss it a little or discuss anything about body syndromes, the chat is open and you can find the link in the chat. You're more than welcome to jump on up. Please let me know if we got taken photos said they went from a 8 down to a 4. So, oh, that's very good. We cut it in half. That's really wonderful. That's beautiful. So the lines are open if you like to join. We love to hear from you, and that was great for me. I enjoyed it, and I really would love to hear your feedback in the comments and let me know what your number was, and if your number changed, what did it go down to? And yeah, that'd be really great. I really enjoy that. I really appreciate it. Also, um, I was gonna mention some other aspect of this that I wanted to about the. So let me just look at my notes. I'm sorry, guy. I'm a note guy, man. Old school. You know, I keep multiple pens and journals and notebooks, and I try to. Well, I don't try. Trying is failing with grace. What I like to do is I like to put things in a sort of structure that allows me to uh, come back to it and elaborate. And also, just keep a nice flow going because I really like it to be open. I don't really want to drop just line after line. But one of the other things I did want to do at this point was I'm going to attempt to share my screen. I had a TED talk that I wanted to share with you about the mind and the body. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can share this. I don't know if I'll lose. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Share, but there we go. and also share the audio. Okay, so gonna go ahead and let this play real quick.
Cramming for a test? Trying to get more done than you have time to do? Stress is a feeling we all experience when we are challenged or overwhelmed. But more than just an emotion, stress is a hardwired physical response that travels throughout your entire body. In the short term, stress can be advantageous, but when activated too often or too long, your primitive fight or flight stress response not only changes your brain, but also damages many of the other organs and cells throughout your body. Your adrenal gland releases the stress hormones cortisol, epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, and norepinephrine. As these hormones travel through your bloodstream, they easily reach your blood vessels and heart. Adrenaline causes your heart to beat faster and raises your blood pressure, over time causing hypertension. Cortisol can also cause the endothelium, or inner lining of blood vessels, to not function normally. Scientists now know that this is an early step in triggering the process of atherosclerosis, or cholesterol plaque buildup in your arteries. Together, these changes increase your chances of a heart attack or stroke. When your brain senses
And that's exactly what I was talking about with one of the people in the study for EFT when I was talking about the flow of the blood, and that's exactly what it was correlated to.
stress, it activates your autonomic nervous system. Through this network of nerve connections, your big brain communicates stress to your enteric or intestinal nervous system. Besides causing butterflies in your stomach, this brain-gut connection can disturb the natural rhythmic contractions that move food through your gut, leading to irritable bowel syndrome, and can increase your gut sensitivity to acid, making you more likely to feel heartburn. Via the gut's nervous system, stress can also change the composition and function of your gut bacteria, which may affect your digestive and overall health. Speaking of digestion, does chronic stress affect your waistline? Well, yes. Cortisol can increase your appetite. It tells your body to replenish your energy stores with energy-dense foods and carbs, causing you to crave comfort foods. High levels of cortisol can also cause you to put on those extra calories as visceral or deep belly fat. This type of fat doesn't just make it harder to button your pants. It is an organ that actively releases hormones and immune system chemicals called
And this is a part of the body syndrome as well. So when you have people, uh, especially when it comes to uh, some men and women, well, we'll say men and women, when it comes to dating, right? It is the body's response from a negative relationship to put on weight in the waist area, right? It's one holding on to the emotion and trauma that the relationship caused, and it's also a defense mechanism because when a person gets like that, they become unattractive, and then they go, well, I'm trying and nobody wants me, this, that, and the third. And it becomes sort of like a secondary gain for the individual, right? Because they may, still hold subconscious, unconscious fears of being out there and getting hurt again, right? So it'll show up in the form of a body syndrome, right? So yeah, I'll go ahead and let this finish. It's not very long.
cytokines that can increase the risk of developing chronic diseases such as heart disease and insulin resistance. Meanwhile, stress hormones affect immune cells in a variety of ways. Initially, they help prepare to fight invaders and heal after injury, but chronic stress can dampen the function of some immune cells, make you more susceptible to infections, and slow the rate you heal. Want to live a long life? You may have to curb your chronic stress. That's because it has even been associated with shortened telomeres, the shoelace tip ends of chromosomes that measure a cell's age. Telomeres cap chromosomes to allow DNA to get copied every time a cell divides without damaging the cell's genetic code, and they shorten with each cell division. When telomeres become too short, a cell can no longer divide, and it dies. As if all that weren't enough, chronic stress has even more ways it can sabotage your health, including acne, hair loss, sexual dysfunction, headaches.
Acne also can be a defense mechanism against heartache and pain. See, the biggest organ on your body is your skin. So uh, these things can show up in various ways. And that's why I wanted to talk about body syndrome specifically because of the vastness of how many of us actually experience this because of the overwhelming psychological weight that we carry about our situations, right? And the stories that we've convinced ourselves that are real.
Muscle tension, difficulty concentrating, fatigue, and irritability. So, what does all this mean for you? Your life will always be filled with stressful situations, but what matters to your brain and entire body is how you respond to that stress. If you can view those situations as challenges you can control and master, rather than as threats that are insurmountable, you will perform better in the short run and stay healthy in the long run.
Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that to show the I thought first of all, I thought it was a little cool. And just to show that the chemical aspect of stress, overthinking, and worry, right? And they all lead and show up as body syndromes, right? So that was something that I really want to show, and I hope you got some value out of that. Also, we have the lines open if you want to come up and join and speak. We'd love to have you come up so we could talk to you and get your perspective. And yeah, yeah, it's been a great show in my mind so far. I hope you've been enjoying the show. If you've been enjoying the show, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. The more people we share this with, the more the algorithm will put this kind of content out there and help our community grow. Uh, we're a community of self help and self well being, self growth, self discovery. And I know I don't come with a lot of the everyday drama and a lot of the other stories and things that's going on because I personally feel there's enough voices amplifying that. There's enough people that have done a lot of homework and study on that, and they're out there doing their good work. And I don't find what me and my other fellow colleagues that are out there that may be watching, guys. I thank you, appreciate you if you are that are doing. I would like to offer more solution based situations, and maybe give an alternative to why some things may be occurring, opposed to the ones that don't really have a actual solution to them. So, one place I do know every one of us could start is with our own minds. And that seems to be something that we really haven't learned a lot about. Maybe I would say it's becoming more and more popular within, I say, even the last 5 years of what the mind is capable of. And as these boundaries of the mind are being pushed and tested, and they're beginning to expand. And I think so. I feel with dealing with what I'm dealing with the mind, the subconscious, is a great avenue for me because I'm very passionate. I love it. I'm very informed about it. I care about it. I care about the people. So this is why I choose to speak about this stuff the way I do because it's something I care about. I love it, and it's something that I can share from my perspective and experience and from my knowledge base. that I could just go on all day and all night about, right? So that's why I don't go too hard onto some of the other things and other stuff. And today, where I really wanted to bring you is about body syndromes. Overthinking can now. I'm not saying if you're having like an acute headache out of nowhere, and it's just started happening. If that's something that's happening, I personally would suggest that you go see a doctor. If you're young and this is happening, it could be something more serious, and it could just be an early indication and warning. But if it's something that has come from, man, ever since I was little, all the stuff I would deal with, and I always ended with these headaches, and now I just get these headaches whenever I'm stressed. You know, and that's something that's a body syndrome, right? And that's something that um, working with your subconscious mind, and you can actually overcome, change, transform, and reshape and reframe. So that's why I offer these things and services to everyone in the community. Right now, the first uh, 10 people that goes to the Beyond the Mind hypnotherapy.com, and there's a scholarship program I'm giving right now, and the first 10 people that go in there will automatically receive the scholarship, and you'll get 6 free sessions, 1 session a week. And after that, if you want to continue, we'll work it out to where, it'll be something that is feasible and comfortable for you. So right now, I'm just putting that out there. The first 10 people that goes ahead and sign up for a session will get the scholarship, and you'll get 6 free sessions. And with those sessions, you'll get an audio recording uh, of the hypnosis for you to listen to daily, and really help the transformation stick, and really communicate with the subconscious mind your intention. So that's what I'm doing right now. Also, um, Chef couldn't be here today. Chef, we miss you. If you're watching, if you're watching, I'm sure you can see we got the flyer up. This is Chef's flyer. Uh, please scan the QR code. He's available. He's in the LA area, and man, he's a Reiki master. So his techniques, along with the hypnosis, is just very transformative when you combine that kind of energy work uh, uh, with hypnotherapy. So please check out Chef. On the shows going in the future, to my fellow colleagues who I'm going to school with, and that I built a good relationship with. I'm going to be getting their flyers and putting their stuff up here too, to share the amazing things that they have going on. One of my colleagues is a tattoo artist, and they do hypnotherapy, and they do tattoos. And that's I have to go get some work done from them myself, just because that's such an amazing combination, in my opinion. So that's what's coming up. Also, if you're in the Las Vegas area, I will be doing another group hypnosis. That'll be in, well, I think I want to say about 2 weeks from today. Let me just check my calendar, guys, and I'll be able to give you more information real quick. Oh, yeah. Well, excuse me. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna do one on the 26th of June in the Vegas area. Also, I'll be sending that information out to Peach. I'm going to be holding a Zoom live hypnosis workshop, where I'm going to give you a wonderful experience, help set you in the right direction to achieve your goals, and give you some powerful techniques to take along with you. That workshop will be free. Um, so I will be posting and putting that information out there. But if you would like to have a session with me now, or you would just like to have a conversation with me, which is costs you nothing, you can get in contact with me at beyondthemindhypnotherapy.com. That's beyondthemindhypnotherapy.com, just like the show. So that's going to be great. I think Taking Photos said 26th group live in Las Vegas. Yes, that's right. The 26th, we're going to do a group live, and in that group, we're going to be doing it's a clarity group, and we're going to use hypnosis to help you establish any clarity that you might need and to put you on the right identity path to achieve your goals, right? Uh, so that's what's is coming down the pipeline. Yeah, I want to thank you all for being here, though. I want to say thank you again for listening and tuning in to Beyond the Mind. If you guys have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to ask. Now, another body symptom is the liver, right? And when we're angry, our energy gets stored in the liver, and that can create a lot of discomfort. The number one thing is letting go of all of this, letting it go. Your body is always trying to get to homeostasis, and it's communicating with you. It's trying to give you a message and tell you what you need to do, right? Which is to let it come up and let it go. So, what I'm going to do with you right now is a little bit of NLP. And this, this, I think you'll enjoy this. It's a little bit of a letting go with some NLP, really, and it's very powerful. You don't have to. I would not say, you don't need to uh, close your eyes necessarily to do this. I was really in my mind thinking about it, like, do you really want to be able to close their eyes for this? Like, I, you don't have to, but I completely understand the naturalness of the eyes wanting to close because they already know how to close, and you don't have to make them. So I will say this for this particular thing: if you were operating heavy machinery or doing anything that requires your full attention, um, I would suggest that you come back to this later and try it later. Although, if you want to just listen and do it with your eyes open and sort of allow yourself to have the experience from a fully conscious in your movement state, then please do. So, all you need to do for this is just allow yourself to take a deep breath and just let it all go. And even more, and even more. And just allow yourself to feel as much stress as you do. And allow yourself to feel that even more. And allow yourself to feel that even more and more. And when you feel like you've allowed all of it to come up, allow it even more. And now imagine a door or window in your chest. And now imagine opening that door or window and just allow all of that stress to flow out that door or window. And simply notice that it wants to leave. And just let it flow even more. And when there is no more stress flowing from that open door or window, I want you to go ahead and close it. And I want you to notice how it feels to have letting it go. And just notice the quiet, the calm, and allow yourself now to focus on something else that may come up that is giving you resistance or holding you back. And allow it to be here. And even more and more. And when you feel like all of it is here now, allow it even more and more. Now go ahead and imagine on your chest there's a door or a window. And go ahead and open that door or window and notice it leaving, flowing out because it wants to go. That's why it keeps coming up. And even more and more. And when it's completely gone, go ahead and close that door or window and simply notice how it feels for it to be gone. And just simply take a deep breath and let it go. Okay. Oh, I got somebody from Facebook with a comment. I think that's pretty awesome what they've said. I think I'll go ahead and read that. It said, "My daughter have been living with cancer, diabetes, and CPOD for over 3 years, but now she is now totally cured with natural medication. Thank you, Dr. Ilubuo. Ila, Ilu, Ilubu, or Ilabe. I'm butchering the name, so please forgive me. You can contact him at any contact him any type of disease, Dr. James Herbal Medication." Well, pretty cool. Thank you, Miss Wilson or Grace. We appreciate the comment. I hope you've been enjoying the show. Would love to know what you think about. If you're just tuning in, maybe you missed that. If not, love to know what your thoughts on that, how that make you feel. If in the chat, please leave a comment. Uh, experience that and let me know what you thought about it. I love to get your feedback. The lines are open if you love to come up and talk and chat about body syndromes or stress that related things that causes body syndromes, or if you'd like to talk about your week in general. Maybe you've done something with a technique that you've discovered that really helped you out this week. We'd love for you to share with our community. So, once again, my name is Talib. This is Beyond the Mind Hypnotherapy, where I'm not here to teach you, I'm just here to remind you I am a guide on your journey. And I thank you for allowing me to take that journey with you. So, wow, we're almost, we got about, I'd say maybe 30 minutes left to the show, really. I went by so fast. The beautiful thing about it is, when you're doing some of these techniques, you can sort of bend time around in your mind, does a little time distortion and you go, wow. Or when you're enjoying things, you ever notice when you're having a good time seems to move fast, right? So, that's always been my one of my secret things to learning, to absorbing, to doing most things was to enjoy it on a high level, right? When you enjoy something, it doesn't become a struggle, right? My definition of hard is doing something you don't want to do, but you know you have to do it. And that's what hard means, right? But if it's something you love to do and you have to do, that's not hard, right? Nobody complains about going to hang out, right? That's not hard. But if you don't want to hang out, that is hard. If you have to do it, it can be very difficult, right? So when you take things with joy, love, and an openness to engage with it, you learn faster, you absorb more, and you have this tendency to distort time around you. So you don't even realize how much you've done. You don't even realize how time has moved around you around it. So that's great. And to Miss Grace, that's beautiful. I do understand the amazing will and strength it took for you to get your daughter there. Mm, I completely respect and admire what you've done and getting her to someone with holistic medicine. The very interesting thing was we had a whole show about holistic medicine, because when you just treat one part, it doesn't necessarily translate to the whole. So the fact that you were able to go out there and to find the herbal medicine, because it does exist, it has existed for a millennial. Um, the knowledge of curing a lot of these things, but there isn't much money in a cure. I won't say that there are so many wonderful doctors in the field of cancer that are doing their best with their knowledge and their resources to help uh, fight cancer. So it's so beautiful when someone is able to find an alternative method and and have their child go into full remission. That's I think I got a sound effect for that. Yes, I did. That's for your daughter and you, Grace. Or should I say Miss Wilson? I'm not sure which one you would prefer to be called. But if you ever put it in the chat and let me know what you prefer, I'll gladly go from that perspective. Right. So, what are some of the things we went over today to um, what are some of the things we went over today to deal with body syndromes? Well, today we went over grounding. We also went over EFT, and we also just did a mix of NLP and releasing. And any one of these techniques are very powerful when applied and practiced and done with an open mind and an open heart. So there's that. But we are coming up on, I'm looking at my time here, but yeah, We may cut it. We've had about an hour and a half of a show today, so I might cut it a little short today if no one comes up and would like to uh, conversate about that. But I am very, very happy with being able to share this great information and hopefully bring a better understanding along with techniques and things that you could actually do to help. So I'm really, really glad for that. And even if it's just one person out there that is affected by this and is able to get some benefit from it, I'm doing my part to be of assistance to humanity and my personal world as well as the world outside around me. So that's been my main focus and goal, and I'm very passionate about this. I love it with all my heart. It changed my life. My story was is a very almost unbelievable story, and finding this and being able to grow with this has been one of the greatest changing points in my life. So this is why I'm very happy about advocating for it. This is why I'm up here, and I'll anybody comes up, I'm more than happy to give them an experience or just cognitively talk to you about directional ways you can actually go about handling certain things, because I'm going to tell you what the real is about the matrix. I'm gonna just tell you what the matrix is. The matrix is not a computer code. It's not a simulation on some alien floppy disk. The matrix is stories. Stories that you believe, stories that you bought into. And most of your discomfort comes from the emotional energy of your story. But I created my own philosophy. And if you'd like to come up here before I end this show and debate me about it, I'd love to. But I have my own philosophy and it's worked flawlessly for me. And it may help you. And it is, you're always right. And I know what you're going to tell me. I already know what you're going to say. That's not true. I've been wrong. I made mistakes. I'm not always right. And you know what I say, just like I'm saying it to you right now. Aren't you right about that? Aren't you right about that? Can you be right without, can you even be wrong without being right? Is that possible? Maybe to another, but they would be right. But for you can't. It's impossible. So you see, because unless you think you're wrong, which would be right about that, because that's the only reason you say it's wrong, because you say you're right about being wrong. So what it really comes down to, the real question becomes, what do you want to be right about? Do you want to be right about your life being a certain way? Is that what you choose to be right about? Or do you want to be right about your life being something very transformative, always in flux to something greater than what it was? You are always right, but you have been taught to argue for your own limitation. So you are always right. And the real question becomes, what do you want to be right about? So cognitively, you want to make changes, change your language. Do not use words, statements, and phrases that are not in service to you. There's always a way to turn things around. And in NLP, we call that reframing, to reframe. Because when you step outside of the emotion, you begin to realize you're only working from the data of the emotion. Step out of the emotion and realize you'll see there's much more data around what you think happened that you can turn and frame and twist, and the mind doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know the difference. So, on that note, that's what since no one has come up to say anything about that or join me on that, I'm going to end the show here for the night since we did a nice hour and a half and I feel good and I hope you feel good. And so I want to thank you for joining Beyond the Mind. Hold on. Hey, Peach, did you want to come up and say something? I'm going to see. Oh, okay. She does not. So, yeah. So, um, I was going to end it here because I'm very happy with what I've conveyed and shared. I really was open to people coming and joining and using the other half of that time to communicate and dialogue and rapport with others. Although that's not how it transpired into sharing wonderful information and videos and getting several techniques out there that will help when you apply them. And from the chat, some people already began to get benefit from them. So that's a powerful thing. So I want to thank you for joining. Please scan the QR code on the flyer that is on the screen so you can have a wonderful session and conversation with Sheffrin. And I will see you guys on the next one and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, a great weekend. May it be full of miracles and be open to all the possibilities that lie beyond the negative emotions. So, my name is Talib. This is Beyond the Mind Hypnotherapy, where I'm just here to remind you, and I will see you next week. You see, there's been a big misconception in the world of hypnosis. Hypnosis is a natural state. It's something we go in and out of all the time. But we can use that state to affect our own behaviors. So this is a do with. I'm going to work with your unconscious mind. I'm going to work with this 88. You're going to work with the 12, right? Because together, when we work together, we can bring 100% of the mind together. That's the power of your own mind.
So I just attended Talib's group hypnosis, Beyond the Mind, and it was amazing. And the fact that I feel so refreshed and so energetic afterwards is amazing. It's a wonderful feeling. This was a bonus. So for the last couple days, I had been experiencing a pain behind my face. On a scale from 1 to 10, not even a 1, more like a dull ache. And while we were going through the process, I was able to let that go, and I was actually able to pinpoint the root of that disease during the meditation process and during the visualization. And since we've been done, I haven't felt that pain, that dull ache behind my face that I had been feeling like for the last few days.